right. Here we go live. Hey, welcome to TDD.Academy. I'm Agile Coach Lancer Kine, and over there is solopreneur David Kuntz.
Hello. How are you
Hey,
guys?
TDD.Academy. Hey, David, I'm going to, I can already do this audio check. I see everything is working live. I just heard us talk on the iPad, which automatically monitored once I started the stream. So all that
Awesome.
pre-game tapping was just a waste of time. It'll go automatically as soon as. Wait a minute, that's not us. I'm wearing a different outfit in that picture. All right, so you feel a little air, and I'm gonna go check and see if our show is monitoring okay.
I'm pretty sure it's working because I had YouTube up and it came up on YouTube and it's got my engineering shirt on it.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's
Pretty
good then. If
awesome.
you, because I heard us, but I thought it was my iPad, but maybe it was coming from your side.
Oh, it was probably coming from my side because here, I'll turn it back on. See how many echoes we can get. Say echo, echo, echo.
Echo, echo.
It's working.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, if it's working, that means that maybe this time it's the fourth, and maybe with the fourth with us, we will get this uh, app under some testing going on this
that
time.
reminds me, David, you're in trouble. Have you seen your LinkedIn messages from me?
I, I did not see any recent LinkedIn
I had to
messages.
call you out, David. You know, we're a show all about the truth out here. And,
Okay. Yeah.
we do testing. We have to do validation. So David's coming up with cool things like the fourth, and this is the fourth episode of doing reverse TDD, and he didn't bring that up in the pre-planning show. When we planned for the show, he did not drop that lovely bit of cultural phenomena there. He kept it all to himself so he could show off on LinkedIn and say, "Oh, this will be the fourth will be with us." And I go, "What? How could you do that?" He's saving it up for later. We could have done some cool logoing. We could have had some Jedis.
You mean your whole post production people are back there sitting there doing nothing this whole time, and I had to come up with the slogan? Is that,
Yes.
is that what you're saying? All your people are just lazy.
And we
Oh,
had a meeting about coming up with the title and stuff, and you saved that one for yourself, man. I'm just very upset.
well,
Wow.
that's
He's
that's
saving his
just
talent for other purposes, folks.
that's just how fast my mind works.
We
Is
just
that
don't pay him enough on this show.
a week later, and I can come up with a really good one. So
Right.
I'm pretty practiced at the art of walking away from a good argument.
Hey, David, I have some things I wanted to announce. Do you have anything on your life you want to announce first, other than that you keep the cool stuff for your LinkedIn audience?
I didn't announce that. You broke that news. What's going on in the sci-fi world?
Wow, yeah. So Sci-Fi Thoughts, Sci-Fi Thoughts dot space is the URL, folks, is finishing up a series with a JPL scientist who has a simulation that he built with some other folks, from JPL, other folks from smart people from smart interns from high schools, and etc. And the simulation shows that, folks, we are late to the party. That the peak civilization period in the Milky Way galaxy, yeah, I know, was let's see, we're at 13 billion years old of a universe. Well, back when it was only 8 billion years was the peak point, and we're way out in the boondocks. We're at the edge of the arm of the Milky Way. So not only are we late to the party, we're not even in the hot district. We were out in we're on the suburbs, the grimy suburbs of the Milky Way. So what is it? Why is all this interesting? This is his hypothesis on why the Fermi paradox happens. The Fermi paradox means, hey, if there's all these cool civilizations zooming around out there, how come we never hear them, see them, or get any notice? And so he's saying this: look, the hot times have passed. There could still be others out there near us, but we're farther away from we are another quarter of the galaxy or another half of the galaxy, I kind of forgot now, away from where the downtown was of the Milky Way. So yeah, check that if you're interested in cosmology and why we aren't finding our aliens out there very easily or so far. Check that out. You go to sci-fi-thoughts.space or
I
Google
listened to the
Lancer
first of
Sci-Fi
that
Thoughts.
episodes. I need to listen to the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on Agile Thoughts, we are finishing another series is there as well about scaled technical coaching. So if you're a manager watching this show and you're thinking like, good God, how do I get my millions of minions doing TDD on their my iOS app or my Java backends or my Oracle databases? Check it out. There's some other strategies for getting. If you have a large company, it's very expensive to get a technical coach for every team in your hundreds of teams. In fact, it's pretty impossible because even if you had a lot of money, there's not that many technical coaches in the U.S. Or worldwide. So there's some strategies we talk about for scaling technical coaching, so you don't have to have a giant staff of technical coaches.
What
All
channel
right,
is
so
that?
that's all I had.
What channel is that?
That's on, Agile Thoughts. So you find that by searching with your favorite search engine, Lancer, Agile Thoughts. The URL isn't so cool. I can't just drop it out there. So it's just easier, use your Google juices.
Google juices. Google knows everything.
Yeah.
Google will find out. All right. I've got a client that needs some agile coaching.
Yeah.
Some, not agile, but technical coaching. They need some testing coach.
Right. So what are we doing today?
In last you left us, we were trying to test up the Ultimate Portfolio app, which is Paul Hudson's long-running series that he's doing. I've been following it on his channel, Hacking with Swift, and he started the testing stuff, but he didn't do a TDD sort of style testing. So we've been trying to test this, and we've been striking out for one reason or another. I think last time I did some sort of copy and paste error and blew up my whole project.
But that was entertainment, not David. That's why we're an action show.
Oh yeah, we
you
are.
You blew up the project.
Yeah, and
we're gonna get Bruce Willis in here someday.
Bruce Willis. He's probably wearing a space helmet somewhere, isn't he?
That's true.
Yeah, Bruce Willis in a space helmet. What a good show. So we're going to try and reverse TDD some more of this Paul Hudson's code here. And so if you got my screen up, I don't know if you do.
Yeah, it's there, man.
Okay, great. I've hacked out a whole bunch of these tests for the awards, and I'll show you what the app looks like. It's a simple app of projects with items in the projects. It's got a closed screen, closed projects, but over here in awards, you got so many awards. The gray ones are ones that haven't been awarded yet, and we haven't gotten enough badges. Yeah, and so he's got some badges in there to award.
We need to add a test first badge in there.
We tried to do some of this testing last time, and I forget what failed us, but
we were instantiating a structure, but it wasn't treating us nicely, and
and so in the meantime, I got tired of that, and I pulled this thing called a Lancer kind.
Okay.
And that is where you take your JSON file and you explode it into objects.
Boom!
Boom, baby. And you just write some award data file with a bunch of objects in it. And then you get your choice when you test something of which objects and what things you want to load in. This makes a lot of sense. I've heard that it's a good idea.
Get out of here. All right, I see all right, we have a struct that's called award data. Nice. This reminds me of some other code that we worked on. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've got that stuff working, and then I started writing these tests, and here's what I've learned. I wrote this. I followed along Paul's stream pretty consistently for probably about 15 weeks or so, and then I got busy and quit. He's keep going, but he finally got into doing testing, and I think it'd be interesting to see what different style of testing he does versus what a Lancer kind expert comes in and looks at this stuff and tests things differently. So I wrote these tests, and then I got up to about right here and noticed that the false, the trues turned to false here, and that is because these, what is that, 4 tests, all test how many items are in the database. And our sample data that we inject into the database first is got 5 projects with 10 items each. So there's 50 items in the database. So you start getting these things. I'll come up here and run this, and I've dropped in a little bit of David Kuntz code, which is called a print statement. by any other name, it would be called.
You know, you have to pay $1 every time you use a print statement. That's a show rule.
Show rules.
He's like, you're like $50 down now, right now, I bet.
Yeah. So this show ends up costing me a lot of money.
I never tell him these things in advance. It just comes out later. Sorry, David, we'll send you the bill again.
Yeah. Just forward it on. So here's the test. They have a name, and then they have the value out here of how many different items you need to get this particular item. And so that's when the trues come to false, is when we get over 50. And so then I gave up writing those, and I said, well, Lance will have better things to test than to just keep doing this. And I can, I can keep making these tests, but they're not really testing anything.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 print statements there I can see right now. All right, I'll write that on your bill here. And then if you've done it for 50, wow, yeah, you can't afford that, man. Come on, slow down.
Wow.
Your wife will be yelling at me pretty soon. That's too much budget to spend on print statements.
Well, my app in the App Store makes something like $10 a month. So I might be in the hole.
Well, that's easy to fix. Everyone go out and buy David's app. Which one is this? Is this the Inspire Me cards?
Inspire Me?
There you go.
Inspire Me cards, yeah. Go out and buy that right now.
And it's for Agile. Is this the Agile one? This is the Agile one, right?
Agile coaching cards.
Agile. Yeah. So if you're an Agile coach, get up there and buy some Inspire Me cards, because David's, he's got to pay his TDD.Academy budget here. His print statements are adding up.
They are. So they run. I've got tests, but I think I'm testing the same thing over and over again. So I kind of got tired of doing that.
All right.
And then I thought we should test out the rest of this data controller here. So
okay.
Are you ready to get into this data controller testing?
Yeah, and we're talking about hasEarned specifically. That's what we're targeting right now?
That is, yes, sir.
Cool. All right.
So
since we're talking about reverse TDD, I guess we got to. So why is it called reverse TDD? Well, folks, if you write the test first and then you write the product code to make the test pass, that's just TDD. But if you like had a, maybe Paul Hudson, he's jamming on live show or something. He's for whatever reason, he wrote the code first. I don't know. We'd have to ask Paul. Maybe we can get him on the show sometime and say, Paul,
Well,
what's going on, bro?
I think he does that because he's trying to teach people Swift UI, and that's harder to test first, right?
Yeah,
We've
for
run
sure.
into that.
In fact, there may be some technical infeasibilities there with the UI controllers, which we've run into. So, anyways, when you're in this unhappy state where you discover some code that has no unit tests, like hasEarned, we want to reverse the situation through a reverse TDD technique, which we're about to lay out you today on the 4th try. Try number 2, was it? That was perfect, but we just had the audio off. That worked too. So we know how to do it. We sometimes run into some problems, which is, that's the world of development, folks. It's always learning something new.
Always.
Cool. So let's reverse that, baby. Let's just put a comment line on 103 and close it at 119.
Oh man, this just hurts my soul to do this.
Oh, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we'll probably have to add a return to make it happy. So just pick true or false, and something like that.
Okay. And I've got a test over here for returning false for the default.
Okay. So does it compile now? And I know because we'll run your test and we'll see. We'll watch them cry and complain.
Let's see if it's. I think it's going to compile.
What is that extraneous brace?
Oh, I've got an extra. I got to get rid of one of these. Oops. I got to get rid of that guy because of
something about configuration schema, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I commented out the top bracket in the switch statement.
Okay. Looks like, go ahead and run the test and see what happens. So we've reversed a bunch of code. We should maybe see some test failure. David was adding some tests later already, so maybe he said he's already covered some of these. So we'll see what we got. So this is a technique I would use if there weren't any tests, or maybe don't think they're adequate. This is something to find out. Wow. Holy cow, David, I'm seeing even more awards here. You're about back up to $15 here. I think that's 20. Oh my gosh, it's scrolling, David. You're going broke today, bro. We're gonna have to write a script to count how many lines that is in order to send you a bill. We might charge you for that too.
Charge me for development time, huh?
Holy cow! All right. So did the tests all passed? Did you run? You did run the test and they all passed.
Yes, they all passed.
Okay.
All of these tests.
Right.
I didn't run all these tests over here, but I think they'll all pass.
Bill succeeded.
Let's find out. You're just trying to hedge your bet. You're worried there's more print statements in there.
Oh, there's good. There.
Test failed.
Oh, look at all those tests that failed.
Lord. Okay, we have a few things that are happening out there.
Okay.
All right, so David, we're in a weird situation here. So usually when I do reverse TDD, there's no tests, but you have a few tests. Are these tests related to test 6 award? Yeah. So you have code that's already testing this. All right, we can work with that. So here's what we're gonna do: is we got some tests out there. Oh man, this is really, David, we're gonna have to do a 5th show because this is not a clean show. We're in hybrid land here. So
Did I ruin it by making test?
Well, because it's no longer, it's a little bit unclear how, in order to show the TDD process, the next step is to create a test that fails. And either we have to ignore these tests, comment them out or something, and or make a new test file, and we ignore that test so we can show people the model. The model is, if we care to show them the model, it would be code, no tests, comment out code, add first test, see test fail, uncomment code, see test pass, and then we go from there. But right now we have a bunch of tests doing stuff that we could work with, but in a work situation, I'd work with this. But if I'm trying to demonstrate the model, we should ignore those tests in some way.
I just commented those tests out.
Oh, you don't want to do Fish Show, do you, David? That kind of hurts me here, you know.
No, I want to get on to doing
Okay.
something.
So the test with Paul Hudson, or the award test, we could probably we'll be good with that. Well, that's okay. You don't have to take those out because their intent isn't to test award. It was the award tests that were kind of breaking our model. So okay, so it's okay. You can leave those there.
Okay.
So award tests are now all passing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make new award tests that drive us to uncomment the code. So let's add a new test. Now, should we make a new file? Would that make it even better? Another award test 2 or something, or award test something?
No, let's just start at the top here.
Okay. So test award again. All right. And okay, let's look at the code that we have commented out. And we want to ask ourselves, hey, self, what's the easiest thing that I can enable? What's the easiest scenario I can enable from this test case? And right now its function has earned award, Boolean, and right now it's returning false. And we want to write a failing test case. So it looks like we need to spec out a test that's going to expect a true, and we just need to decide what that means. So it could be because it's true because it has items, or it could be true because it has complete.
So we would call DataController dot hasEarned. Pass in an award. And right now my awards up there are in a static array, so I could pass in award 0.
Okay, and award 0 is something that has either an item or a complete.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we could compare that award 0, which is going to come back as a true or a false. And we know it'll come back false right now.
Oh, but what do you spec it to be? You want it to be true, right? That's what we're trying to get a failing test case.
Yeah, so I want it to be true.
Okay.
And if I run that test, I think it's going to fail.
Yeah, looks like the compiler's mad at us right now.
Build fail.
Probably need to declare an award, or or init something in that. You can init it in line there if you want. That's okay.
I just needed to spell the variable's name right. So
hey, the build passed. Oh, okay. Yeah. Build passed, test failed. Boom. Okay. Now, David, this is reverse TDD. You could say, what we don't want to do, folks, is allow David just uncomment all of the code. That would just be wrong. So we got to take baby steps, just like Bill Murray did when he was in Groundhog Day. Baby steps. So what's the fewest lines you can uncomment to get this to pass this test?
Well, I think I could uncomment all of this stuff, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, let's go. I agree. I think you're close. So let's start with switch. Let's uncomment 103. And then you're talking about items. So you're saying this award has an item. So 104, you need that.
Yep.
And let's not do anything in the body for a second, and we'll just try to get to compile. How do we get this? Let's get it to compilable now. Let's see you get that switch statement happy. So there's like one.
It has to have a return.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Items
need. Does it? Oh, okay.
Oh, it must be exhaustive. I
don't know if it needs a return. I think you just need to get the brace. Oh, exhaustive. What's that about?
Exhaustive means in switch.
Okay.
You have to return for whatever type it is. You have to catch all of them.
Okay.
You've got to have a case.
So items is one, and it defaults the other. So you just got to put the default back in.
I think we have to put the default back in.
And then the brace. I think you need the brace for the switch on 120.
120. I The heck is 120? Way down here? Oh.
All right, now will it compile? Let's see, case label in a switch. Do we actually have to have code in our switch? Maybe we do. Okay, you might be right on the return. I guess, so, yeah, try that. Yeah, see if it compiles.
Okay.
It compiled. Okay, cool. So go ahead and return.
All right,
Well,
it's going to return
okay.
false. We're expecting true.
So make it, what's the simplest thing we could do?
True.
Yeah. All right, let's see if the test passes.
Build succeeded.
I wonder if you can have like angry voices when when the build fails, like, oh, the build failed, and woohoo, the build succeeded.
You can have different voices for different things in behaviors. I don't know if that one's, I don't know how detailed it gets.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So that's good. So we got our first bit of code. So now we handle two cases. We have a default, which passes, because if you comment out 119, have we tested that line? Sorry, we can't comment out. Change 119 and return true. That might be our next test we need to add, because I don't think we have a test for this. And neither did Paul. This might break your initial static arrays. We need a new test. I bet you didn't have a default case in there.
Test failed.
The test failed. You do have one that cares about false. Wow. Aha. Really? Oh, wait. Is that the... Okay, we are in award tests.
Uh-huh.
And we have a bunch of tests failing now. Oh, wow. So you have some that care about false. Perfect. Okay, recovered.
Okay, the question is over here in this stuff, which is where I was going to test it. I have a default is false. Let me run these and see if these pass.
Well, that's not possible. All right, so what's going on there? Oh, there it goes. It failed. Yep, it failed. Okay, so go ahead and repair 119, and now we got to talk about, we have to decide if we're done, if we're going to check in the code and call it a day, or if we care about the rest of that code. Like maybe we don't need all that code.
Build succeeded.
Oh, you'd love to delete some lines of code.
Oh, you betcha, baby.
Okay, here we're testing the data controller test.
Test failed.
And we did a little bit better because only 2 of them are failing now. And
so I'm a little bit puzzled.
Okay, just
all right.
I'm gonna test it and see if.
I thought you disabled a bunch of tests. What's going on here?
Test failed.
Did you add those tests back in, by the way, or were they not disabled?
I disabled these down here.
Oh. Don't make me do an episode 5.
Don't make me episode 5.
Yeah, come up with a slogan for that one, bro. You did 4th later. I wonder what's going to be a week later for episode 5.
We could do episode 5 on May the 5th.
Yeah.
You know what day that is?
That's a big date. I don't know if that's
May
on
the 5th.
I don't know if that meets our.
That's
Labor Day or something like that.
No, it's the Mexican 4th of July type celebration. Cinco de Mayo.
That's it. Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo. You have to remember that.
Yeah, we'd have to get a special guest for that show. I don't know who, but we'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, what else what about items? Should we focus down now and try to be picky about the rest of like 105, 106, and 107, maybe? So what kind of, that's one idea.
Okay.
Is get our first case statement completely uncommented. So let's see, 105 says it's going to fetch an entity name. What is it fetching? Fetch request. Items. What is this thing doing? It's getting what is
fetches,
that?
all of the entities named item,
Oh, so it's got a list now.
and
More than
that's
one. Okay, it's okay. We don't have to change that yet. So we'll just stick with one for now, and maybe we'll come back. And so once we're going to ignore 105, we're going to leave it commented out till we worry about multiple items. Oh,
okay.
but then the fetch request. Oh, the fetch request will still work. All right. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably we'll. It's okay. Don't uncomment anything, David. You don't have a failing test case. Woot woot woot.
Good thing my
Yes,
keyboard
David.
doesn't have that 220 line plugged into it.
Only
Did you ever
220?
do,
I don't know, man.
did you ever do the test in graduate school of could you shock the person in the other room?
No, David.
Remember
We were not so mean in computer science.
the Millman study in
Yeah.
psychology or whatever?
Those
Anyway,
psychologists, man, they're crazy people. All right. Award count is, so it's going to get a count of awards. So these next lines that are commented out, well, 106 and 107 is all about award count. Huh.
and
Can
we
we,
added this true.
yeah.
Um,
So, so how do we add an award count that violates 107? Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I'm saying this wrong. So right now it's true. So, but now we have the case where we want to test and be more, how do I say, specific about what's true. So how do we need to add a test that violates line 107, fails, so that we can add that line of code back in. So the award count has to violate that return. That's greater than or equal to the award value. We have to add a award that has less than the award value. Does that make sense?
yes, it's crazy that I understood that. But I understood that because I've been staring at this code for a long time. So we want, can I look around and see if there's any police around here?
I don't see any red lights.
Okay. So we want to pass in an award. So I have an award data. And I can choose which award I want. I could go look at them, but I'm going to say that one. And I'm going to
I would say, I would be amazed if you haven't memorized, like, oh, 04 is exactly that case. It's like, holy smokes.
I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing, but I might be wrong. So
So
I'm
what?
gonna
This is a
just-
special award, though. Wait, what?
This is
Let's come up with a better
the-
variable name than award.
this is the 5th award in the list of awards, and I believe it's going to test for 250 items in the database.
Isn't okay? So I have a different way of looking at it. Wouldn't this be the award that has an award count less than the value? Is that what you're saying? And are we saying the same things?
Award count less than the
Yeah.
award count will be less than the value. Yes, I think this is one.
Okay. Can we name the variable like that too, so the variable reflects something better than award 04, because we won't know what that means later. Yeah, there we are. Because you're describing the special award. It's a particular award. Award count is 250. Wow.
Do you want me to go look, or you want me to
Sure,
run
you
the
can look. You're allowed to look. Just not allowed to write code, man. Looking's free.
Looking's free. Oh, I didn't start with 0, so I might be off by 1.
Snap.
Snap, and then it goes to, so award 5 is the one we need because it'll have a value of 100,
Which will be
which will be greater than the number of items.
counts. Okay.
and we want award 5. So I was completely wrong. So now I don't know that we actually, in this test case, I don't think we actually have a database in there. I don't know what the data is.
We don't. Yeah. So is that bothering you?
Yes,
Does that bother you,
because
David?
it does, because it's so unknown that I don't. This thing, when I run this thing and traced it all through there and figured out what everything's doing, there's some questionable logic in here.
Are you calling Paul Hudson's logic questionable? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm saying that
Oh,
it
he's on the
appears
spot
to
now.
work on TV, but when tested thoroughly, it might not do what you think it does, but it gives a nice presentation. And he's got a long ways to go. I mean, he's not done with it, so you know, and I think
Well,
he knows what he's doing.
My world's simple. I have code that I need to test drive. I see the code because somebody already wrote it. So we just need to spec out the tests that describe the reason for that code to be there. And if yeah. So, hey, I requested controller. Can I fix up a couple things?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I got it now. Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, we can do test. What are we testing here? We're testing that the award count. Let's see, that one is under data controller. Is less than award value. Okay, so award count less than award value. And we're asserting that that's going to be a false scenario. And so this award count, 100, you're saying that that's less than, the 100 is less than the award.
No, it'll be.
Oh, the count is, what is?
Many. So the count of items in the database is what award count comes back as.
Oh, okay.
And so it's how many items are in the database. And it may be 50, and it may be something else that is indeterminate because I haven't seen the data or the database.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, if somebody said, hey, David, I need a database that does this, and if there's more, if there's fewer items in the database, then the award value, I want it to be false, because that person has not earned the award. That works for me.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. So the number of items in the database is, if it's less than the award value, that person has not earned the award. Is that right? Do I sound like I got it, or maybe? Okay.
I think you got it.
Okay, cool. So this award here is a award count of 100. So this has 100 items. So I'm going to be very expressive here because it's easy to get confusing, I think. Here, award count.
Now, that will be the award. That's the whole award.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So this single award, or?
Yes, it's a single award, and it's award number 5.
Right.
With a value of 100.
Okay, so its award value is, okay, so the award value is 100. Okay, got it. Okay, so now we're describing what's underneath the covers. I think that's helpful. And award items in the database, since our database right now is an item of 1, that's going to be less than award value, because we only have one element in the array.
In the database.
Sorry?
We don't really know how many are in the database.
Oh, I think it's this number right here. So the award count is equal to the count of things that are in the list that are passed into for fetch request. I mean, this isn't connecting to a real database, is it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, is it?
an in-memory database.
Oh, okay. So then you know the that's a fixed number. You already know how many's in there.
There's probably 50 in there
Okay.
because I've run sample data up into it.
All right. So
But
this test.
I can't be sure because I don't know how to go look at the data in the in-memory database.
Yeah, I think we're okay though. So I'm just gonna go with what you're saying because we don't need to know everything in the world. Unless we discover a contradiction, and then we'll
Okay.
investigate further. So we think this will fail because of the in-memory database has maybe 50, and if we're wrong, we'll go look into that. So, and I think everything else. I think the test is set up.
Okay,
Do you agree?
I agree.
All right. So as long as our assumptions are there's only 50 in the database. If something's wrong, we'll go look into it. We'll test our assumption. We'll check our assumption. So what do I do? Oh yeah, hold down the.
You can click on the one beside class and it'll run all the ones in the class, the X beside class.
This one. Okay.
Build succeeded.
Test failed.
Which we expected because we haven't enabled the code. What's this mean? Oh, it's just telling me the test failed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
True is not equal to false. So now, David, we get the chance to add more code.
Okay.
If it doesn't work after we add this code in, then we have to double check our assumptions on the database.
All right.
Because this is going to a database. That's what that line is doing, I think, is what I'm hearing. Entity
Fetch
name
request
item.
is setting it up, and then the count.
Like how many were
count
in
method is
the
just up
returned in the
above.
request, I guess.
Well, the count method is just up above you at like line 92 or something.
192.
Scroll up.
Oh.
Right there.
Oh, there's the URL. Results, huh?
So I had to go watch his show again in order to know what was going on here.
Well, I think it's let's see what's
But-
here. I think we know enough. So it's going to try. It's an optional to count.
How many items match the fetch request, which is a fetch request for item. And
Okay.
it's nil coalescing to a 0, meaning if it comes back nil, it'll substitute in the 0. So you always get a number there.
Oh, okay.
And so what it's doing, though, is it's counting how many items are in the database. And not a
Okay.
particular type of item, but a particular entity called an item. And there should be 50 in there, is what I think
Yeah,
the database
it's okay.
holds.
Yeah. Let's run the test and find out. I'm going to tell you something here. This test, we got a little bit more code than we need in here because we're not testing the equals yet. So we got to comment out. We got to reverse. We're not quite able to reverse TDD that item.
Wow. You can go down to the character level?
Subatomic level, bro.
Subatomic.
Yeah. So
All
because
right.
we haven't written a test for equals, we're just checking to see if it's it's got to be less than this. Whoa! And there's a subatomic dog I just heard. So
Yes, it is.
let's
That's
run the
lovely.
test. See if we got some goodness here.
All right.
Build succeeded.
And it makes us wait a while.
Build
Anticipation.
succeeded.
Boom! Test
baby.
passed. There. See, it doesn't feel good. You got to put some more code back in, David. Just
does
as if
feel-
you wrote it right the first time. If you wrote test first the first time, it's kind of like that.
Well, if
Yeah.
I had Paul Hudson writing all my code for me, I'd get it right all the time.
Oh, I don't know. He
He
doesn't
never
make
makes
mistakes on camera. Is that what you're saying? It's
No,
always,
he never makes mistakes.
I wonder how many times he shoots a show then. I don't know.
He does them live, baby, just like us.
Like a like an animal. All right, so we don't need this line at all. That wasn't something we care to put back. That was an intermediate step. All right,
Yeah.
so we need to talk about this boundary condition.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah, the
I
equals.
call that a bug that'll stay in the code forever.
Well, maybe it's a feature. I don't know. Do we want that? Because this
Now
says
we have
is
to
less
find
than.
we have to find an award that is exactly equal to the number of items that are already in the database, and that will probably be award number 4.
Oh my God! You actually. I'm blown away. Yes, David. Do you go home at night and memorize these these counts?
I spent a couple of nights looking at this stuff before this show happened so that I could understand what was going on, because it took me a week to come up with the really good saying for the show. It takes me a while, Lance. I'm not as fast as the fastest knife in the drawer.
So the word value in this case is probably 50 is what I'm thinking. Is what I'm hearing from you. And go ahead. You might want to take over. You could type in the the word data. You're the master of the data over here. Data master.
In my company, we're going to segregate out so that only certain people can touch the data, and then some people can be coders and some people can be data hoarders.
That's good. You got to build your empire over there, David. You could got to get your hooks in there.
What's the double alt for?
Oh, that was me typing where I shouldn't be because I was changing camera angles.
Okay, I was going to let you go ahead, but
No, sorry.
You probably want you want to look away right now.
Oh my goodness.
While David
Oh my goodness. Oh, my eyes are
fixes-
hurting. I hope nobody reports us to the copy paste cop. I mean, it is a live stream after all.
I think so. If count and value are both 50, this test is going to fail because it's commented out, right?
Yep. And you want it to be true. So, all right.
That's what we want to see. Oh, wait. Here's a problem.
Oh, the copy paste cop. There it is, baby.
No, the compiler.
Here's the theory on that. The more the times you copy paste usually slows you down because there's a bug somewhere. That's what people who like the copy paste police say.
Failed.
You're wrong.
And I'm kind of on
They
the
don't
fence
know
on
how
that. I think
slow I
that's
can
true
type.
a lot of times, but I have to get somebody to watch me over my shoulder and track all these things so I really know, because I'm not sure.
Yeah. We have to get a keyboard counter on us. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a failing test,
Sweet.
and it failed because false is not true. And
False is not true. I love that.
yep. And
Oh,
so I
darned.
think I'm allowed to come over here to the code and
You
do
are.
that and rebuild that, and then come rerun the test. I'll rerun all of them.
What's that message?
Build succeeded.
Drum roll, please.
Boom! So our data might not be what we think it is. So maybe take a look.
I don't know how to
you did this all blind. You were like, oh, it's 0 to 4. But remember, Data Award 5 was going to be 04 too. So I don't know.
Well, you don't trust anything I say, which is
I'm a programmer. I don't even trust myself. I always got to go back and derive from base foundations.
yes. Okay. Well, the problem here is that we don't know how many awards are coming back from the count.
Oh, David, are you going to spend $1? Is that where you're headed?
Spend $1.
Are you gonna spend $1? Oh
How
snap!
are you going to do it?
Right before my eyes, you're gonna just throw that dollar away.
How are
Gonna
you going to
Zillow
do
me
it?
that dollar right now. Well, first of all, are you sure that 04 is what you think it is? Are you really to bet $1 for that? Lose $1
Yeah.
over that? Number 4, 50. Okay, cool. All right, so now what you're going back to, well, I don't know my assumption on the database. Okay, cool. So, well, folks, maybe you could spend $1 and put a print statement, but let's imagine your build takes 40 minutes because I got to build like that, an iOS build like that, right? That's all. And maybe just change a print statement. That's not a full build. Maybe it'll get me down to, maybe it's a minute. There's a faster way to do it, David, and I'm going to say a dirty, dirty word that I usually don't say here.
Copy and paste?
No, I'm going to say put a breakpoint in there and see what the debugger says because you won't have to compile for that.
Oh.
So this is all fairly hypothetical. In David's case, he could spend his $1, but by the way, folks, if you're working on a big build and you don't want to wait around, you're spending $1 and time, you might want to consider putting a breakpoint and just looking at it because then you can like you could change your mind on several things and look at other variables.
Rather than the print statement to figure it out.
Yeah, that way you have more options.
All
It's
right.
like having a chatty cousin, they'll come over and tell you everything you want to know about what the neighbor's doing, even if you only want to know if the dog was home. All right, so can we look at the award? Yeah, you probably want to step once and then, here, I'll get my hands away from there. Step over and then just hover over award count. 50. Well, it looks like it's set the right way, David.
50.
Yeah.
Award
So it's going to
count.
return, it looks like it's ready to return true if award value is actually 50 as well. So I'm puzzled. Let's go ahead and hover over. Can you see what award value is? How do you look at that right now? You probably have to, if you go to the, I don't know if you know how to look at the, oh, there you are. Yeah. Is there a way to inspect the,
I'm just clicking, man. I don't know what I'm doing.
I think you have to, yeah, and I don't use the debugger a lot, so I'm actually really rusty here.
I thought it usually put things up your local stack right in
I
here.
need too, but I'm not seeing it, so maybe we have to make a query or something. This is where your printf probably would, your print statement for that $1 would have been faster if we
Might have been
can't figure it
faster.
out. Debug view hierarchy? What's that?
No, I've used all these things because I started doing that kind of stuff, debugging the view hierarchy and
Okay.
stuff.
Oh, that's view. Okay, that's true. Yeah, slow to run, I guess, and it's going to say the same thing though. So why would award count equal to award value fail? That's not possible, right? Actually, yeah. Can you, you know what? How about we do a quick Google on this one? Because I think it's valuable enough to learn a little bit about the debugger right now to say, hey, how do I print out a variable? Let's see, what would you Google? LLDB or something, or Xcode. How do I print out a variable? Something like that.
I think it's PO is the.
Inspecting variables. Ray's going to have a video on it. Oh, there's a variables view on that Ray video.
Here's. I was looking for text. I always
I
look for
understand.
text, but
LLDBPO comment. What is that? Is that the name of the variable?
must be. Well, that was a stupid name.
Oh, scroll up
yeah.
and see. The code's up
Yeah,
above
here's
you.
comment something.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think it's
So
print
it's
out.
PO, print out.
Award dot. Oh, nice. I think that was worth a Google to pull that in the show. Uh-oh, where's our printout, though? Oh, that's mean.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. What is?
Oh, Award value is 1. So it says it's 1.
So the whole time we weren't getting any debugger stuff is because I had a filter on.
Oh. So why does it think it's 1? Do we need to go look at that data again? Award data 05 goes in there.
Oh, because it's going through a loop of awards, isn't it? Or is it not?
All right, what is going on here? So we're getting an award, and it's the variable name is award, and it's fetching from the database some items. An award count is coming from, that's the number of things it fetched. An award value is the thing we passed in.
It's 1 because this is the first steps award. And if we look at the award list over here, here's first step 1.
All right, this is weird. So when we pass in an award, why isn't it not using that award? What's going on?
That's got me baffled right now. So has earned here, has earned award value is 50.
Okay, so that award is...
Fetch request comes back with multiple... Is it that the count for fetch request
is 50? I think that part works. When you hovered over it, it told you 50.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh, if you hover over a word count, it'll tell you again. There it is, 50. So everything's working great except for that variable award.value. Some crazy reason isn't taking our award. Award value is 50. How is this possible? How is that possible? False is not equal to true.
False is not equal to true. All right, I'm lost with that because, so if we continue on in our debugger, I stepped over, I have no idea, oh, I must be here on this last thing, so now my return value,
it's going to return true or false, depending on what that evaluation was, which is, award count is much higher than award value, so it should be true, right? Award count is 50, award value was 1, so that should be true. And yet, it's actually failing. Oh, that's really weird. What's going on here? I feel like something's not right. And then we're in a view. Yeah, keep stepping until you get back to the code, to the test code. Do you know the step? Oh. Okay, now what's it doing? So there's a loop somewhere ahead of us that's calling hasEarned. Why is that happening?
It's looping through every award in some piece of code somewhere. And I'll bet you this is the second award. Count 50, no?
Yeah, I have to do the PO again. If you do the up, you can go up arrow or something and PO and...
All right, it's the same first step. That's the name of the first award again. Step out.
Okay, I'm very puzzled now. What's going on? So we're running a test, and we have a data controller reverse TDD, and we are.
Yeah, this is
Where's
UI
this data?
code.
Where's this data control? What instantiates this data controller in the test case? Where's that done at? Is that later on in the body of the test code?
What instantiates the data controller? It derives from base class, and base
Oh,
class is this guy that sets up the data controller with the in-memory flag, sets up the context, object context, which I don't know what this is, but this is pertinent to database stuff.
all right.
Um,
Why? So, well, how is it? We're losing control of our test right now. It's we're trying to call a method, but the method's not taking our variable, or I mean, it has to take our variable. That's how programming works. But so it isn't quite doing what we think it is doing.
yeah, but it's in an award view, which is view code. So it's somewhere it started up the view,
Oh, maybe.
started up the app, and is running our test through the app or something. This is beyond me. I don't know.
Right. So when you instantiate the test case, that's already done. We are. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Okay. I see the problem. Go back to the. So what's happening is we put the breakpoint in a very busy part of the world, and we should put the breakpoint in the unit test and then walk from the unit test because it's just getting things ready and warmed up. Because of, as you said, it's in a part of a view. There's a bunch of other things going on just to get the object initialized, and we don't
Okay.
care about that. So put a breakpoint in the test we care about, and then in that, yeah, right there, and then get rid of the other breakpoint and delete, and then just let her, yeah, try it, do it again or whatever. How to get it going?
How about we just stop it and start again?
Sure, yeah, because we were in a busy part of the world there. That code might be called many times before it even gets to our test.
Okay, so we want to run our test.
Yeah.
Build succeeded.
And so then we can
So-
get control for our context, which is this unit test. Okay, so then you from here, why does it look like it's breaking in the ultimate portfolio again instead of the test? I'm confused. Is that just saying that, hey, you are,
Um,
oh, I see. It's a copy of
the
the same.
same
All
thing.
right. Cool.
Yeah, and
Good.
I think we're actually in the wrong test here. That's not our code. Is that our code?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
That's the one that we want to return true because it's
okay.
equal to, and right now it should
And it
return
just
false.
brought it up over here for whatever reason.
It's all right.
So-
It's yeah, the debugger is doing its thing, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, go ahead and step through that now and
step
step
into this.
Yeah. Hopefully it's stepping into the function we care about, not the xc tsert equal part. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where it is
Test
now.
failed.
The test failed.
What? Okay. So why didn't it? Well, clearly this is a lot slower than copy pasting printf.
Build
That
succeeded.
did not work the way I expected it. See, because we want to step in on hasEarned, and you have a breakpoint there, so you should be able to do this. And then step in,
Oh.
not step over. I wouldn't do that.
All right, so I don't know which one's which.
That
So
button.
there's multiple things
Thread
on the
in.
one, right?
See, the problem is it's already
Oh, it's
done.
already done.
Maybe
didn't
the
step in.
breakpoint. Oh, could you just try one more time? Rerun the test, and then I want to pay attention to. Yeah, go ahead and stop it and start it again. Whatever you have to do to get that to work.
Build succeeded.
Oh.
All right,
so
we're
it's
here.
at breakpoint 23, 2.1, and then
Can
can you step into Okay, you could go into DataController hasEarned now and put the breakpoint in there, knowing that the test is going to enter that. I feel like you should be able to walk into it too, but you know, we've kind of already tried that and it didn't work. So let's put a breakpoint in DataController hasEarned. Yeah, put the breakpoint where you want it there, and now it should.
Here?
Yeah, and then tell it to continue. So that's the button. Yeah, that one.
Now I'm on the 24.
Yeah.
And all right, and now I'm here.
Now this should be all about us. This shouldn't be. So your all that award count and the award value should come out to be the right numbers now. Okay. Can you print out award count, award value? Award count is 0. Wow. Oh, why is that?
This is the thing that was breaking my head earlier, was that I've got a database. It's an in-memory database, and I don't know how to see it. And
Yeah.
so that aspect that you're saying, don't use a JSON file when you can pull that data into your test and have complete control over.
Yeah.
I feel like we now have a database that we don't have any control over. We can think we know what it's set up to have in it, but we can be wrong. And this is a case where here we're saying, find me all the items, and it's coming back with a 0. There's no, which makes sense in one sense, that the in-memory database has never been populated if it was a fresh in-memory sort of thing.
We think we lost our in-memory database and now we have a database of 0. Yeah. So I don't know. I have a couple thoughts. Number one, it's like doing I/O in this unit test is kind of painful, and I would refactor out the database part so that function hasEarned accepts an array, and then the database work is done in a different place. That way we're separating database activities from logic activities. Since we're in the moment, I mean, well, the good news is that at least it's in memory database, and those are pretty fast too. So it's not like they're really. If you try to unit test with a network database, this would be horribly slow unit test and a terrible idea. So I would definitely say we have to extract out the code that does the database to a different method or object, and this code would only work with collections or lists or arrays. Because really, it doesn't need to the database doesn't need to be in this hasEarned. It could be passed. The fetch request is just to get to the count, and so count could be passed in as an argument rather including the database inside this baby. But the code is what it is today, and I'm trying to think of how we could tidy this up before we have to go off the air. I guess it would mean we need to understand why the database is 0, because then we could just work with the database.
I can
don't know how to work with it.
Make the database have 50 items in it.
Say that again.
I think I can populate the database.
Oh, okay. Let's do
with
that.
50 items in the test.
Okay. Sure.
All right. So we'll go back over here to the test. And I believe that, is this my test or your test? I'm lost.
That's
not the test we were working on. That's the other code. DataController, I want DataController test. DataController test here. I'm gonna get rid of my breakpoints. I don't know why they don't go away when you click them again, but they go to something. So that code that I just saw in award test is secret code that will make the data controller have the preview
Yeah, I think so too.
calls the other thing, which I think, is that saying I don't need the var in front of it?
Yeah.
Which I think will make sure that this test loads in the sample data. So it'll
Okay.
have at least the sample data amount. I don't know when it cleans up.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's try this. It's good experiment.
Build succeeded.
Because if I was to do just, an in-memory database strategy, this would be a reasonable strategy. We are testing against a data controller after all, so. Okay, we have a breakpoint still.
Test succeeded.
All right, test succeeded.
Oh, nice.
So
If you click on
where
the
were we before we got?
No, you got that's exactly what we wanted it to do. We wanted
Wrapped
to make
around.
the equals pass, and it just did. We never got a passing yet on the equals. Remember the drum roll? So that was
Yeah.
going to pass, except it didn't because we were working against an empty in-memory database. All right? Does that make sense? And if you wanted to double check that, just take the equals out again.
Right here.
Yeah. So I'd say I would just continue along this test working with in-memory database for now, because it's okay. It's reasonable. It's a little more complicated than we need to be, but I think if I was, yeah, it isn't going to get in the way if it's an in-memory database. If it wasn't an in-memory database, I'd say get that database code out of there, but or get that hasEarned logic out of the database code. But I think it's okay
So-
this way.
So we got that to fail again, and we
Yeah.
got a bunch of other failures because of,
Well, it's
uh,
yeah.
yeah.
So in a context where we didn't have any other unit tests, you wouldn't even know about those other failures. But yeah, so cool. You've reverse TDD'd part of hasEarned. You got the items in there. We were forced to learn about in-memory databases. Well, we got it in there now. You may need to use that pattern. You may need to. I'm sure you're going to need to use the in-memory database in each of your tests from here on,
Yeah.
because it's. You may have to go back and add it to the other test on line 18, for example, because eventually, as more logic gets put in here on the less than logic, you might need it. It's hard to say. We actually have award items in databases less than award value. Yeah, if there's only 0 items in the database, it will definitely. So your case still works for that, whether you have the database there or not, because an empty database is also a pretty
Zero
low
data.
number of count.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. We have 15. We could go for 15 more minutes maybe and get I don't know if we could finish complete or not. We might, because we've learned a lot about
I think
the
we
database.
should. I think we should end on this somewhat high note
No.
of we got tests to pass. We think we understand what's in the database that's hidden.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Google up how do you find and put a SQL browser onto an in-memory database.
I don't think you should have to do that. It's in memory, and you probably can't, because the SQL browser will expect a network connection. What you want to know, and I'm not going to be able to tell you this, somewhere in this code, he's instantiating the in-memory database and populating it. You want to find that code, and it's going to be hard-coded in the Swift somewhere. That's my belief. Or he's loading it from a file into memory, which would be kind of funny, but I don't know.
Well,
Maybe these
originally,
tests are running kind of slow. I'm not sure.
originally
tell that.
in so here in award, he was putting everything into not award test, but award.
Yeah, DataController preview, load sample data from blah blah blah. That's your hint. You're going to be.
Yeah. So originally, he had this static init all awards from the bundle. But that doesn't run when the in-memory database runs. The in-memory database comes from the base test class, which is here when you instantiate setup with errors, which runs before every test, right? It does a setup. It instantiates a data controller in memory, and that data controller, I think, is got 0 data in it, but I don't know if it does or not.
Oh, and base test case.
Yeah, in base test case.
Well, how you find out is, let me think about this. You put a breakpoint on 16. I don't know if I'd put a breakpoint. I would call that function that we just been working with, the one we're testing, right away. Like put it on line in between 16 and 17, and then see what hasEarned comes back, and then you'll know if it's empty or full. So you could call that function, or you copy paste that code over there just to get the code from 105 to 106, I think, is all you need. 105 and 106, and run it. But should we close out the show and leave that to some off-camera fun?
Yeah, I learned something this time. So
What? You don't learn something every time, David?
Oh, well, yes. Every time I do learn something that I'm around you, sometimes it's useful stuff. Sometimes it's just I had a good time.
Oh, snap. Well, what I learned is you owe me a lot of dollars now because you're adding print statements behind my back. That's for sure. That bill.
Well, I would Venmo you that money, but Venmo has a credit limit, and I think I'm over your credit limit.
Whoa. Yeah, you might be. Your credit limit's really low. All right. Well, hey, that's a show. We showed reverse TDD, and the steps are like this. So, hey, somebody accidentally, hopefully, or just wrote some code. You first go in there and you comment out the body, and then at that point you start adding tests. And the first test you want to add is the simplest case that will fail. So you think about it carefully, make it fail, uncomment some code, putting the code back in, and then you think, well, what's my next step? And each step of the way, you want to pick the least amount of code, the smallest steps you can make, the least amount of test code you have to write, and the least amount of code you have to enable to make it pass.
And you're not above like writing some simple new code to prove something, like we did with the return true and return false and stuff.
Well, because we can't comment out. If the whole body is comment out and it's supposed to return something, we have to pick something. Yeah. So,
So that's a good method. Maybe we should do it again on something that we actually don't use a database.
Oh, he's going to find something else complicated. Like, well, let's try this.
Yeah. Whose idea was this?
It'll use a network next time. Let's use a network. Let's use a web API. It's going to call, yeah. David's always trying to make things hard. He's
you know
like,
what?
well,
I think if you call into what's that mountain out in Denver, Colorado? That what's the name of that? Something mountain?
Longs Peak. Longs Peak.
No, it's.
There's a lot of mountains over there.
No, it's where they started.
The Donner Party, where they died? Oh, no, there was one survivor.
No.
There's a lot of peaks, and all have stories.
Do you want to play a game? You know that phrase? Do you want to play a game? Would you like to play a game?
We're talking about oh, wow. We're going to lose some geek points if we don't get this right. War games.
War games.
It's Mount Cheyenne.
Cheyenne Mountain.
Yeah.
Cheyenne Mountain. But yeah. So I think I got some code that calls in the Cheyenne Mountain. So we'll try that next time.
Ooh, it's going to use a modem too. All right. This is, I'm going to X out, David. So this is Lance. I'm done. We'll see you next